couple weeks ago, I spoke at a materials handling and logistics conference. Sexy, sexy stuff. And while I was there, we were having dinner. It was like some mountain lodge in Utah. I was up, coming down from dinner in one building, and I was coming down to another. And I got off the elevator, and I was walking out, and this guy stops me on the way. And he's got kind of a furrowed brow. It's him and his wife, and he's got a couple of fishing poles. And he's like, he points to the sponsor sign. He's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, well, they're sponsoring this conference. Like, it's a logistics company, and they're, doing materials handling logistics conference, blah, blah, blah." And the theme was foster disruption. And so this guy was like, "Well, what does that mean?" And I was like, "Well, it's, about really innovating, right? We want to disrupt industries, that kind of thing." And he goes, "Disrupt industries? You mean like hacking?" Stupid millennial me was like, thinking in my software hat. I was like, well, I'm thinking hackathons, I'm thinking hacking software together. I was like, yeah, that's part of it. That was not what he meant at all. This was like right after Equifax. I should have known that. And so he immediately goes, so he's like, "I think people who do that should have their hands chopped off." Turns and walks away, like leaves it there. And he's like grumbling to his wife on the way, and they're like getting each other amped up. And I'm like sitting there trying to process what just happened. Because like I don't even work for these people. But now I've spoken on behalf of them to this guy. And he now thinks that they are hackers and they're having a hacker convention. And so I'm sitting in this awkward spot where I'm like, now I'm upset. Because I'm like, dude, like you were already in a bad mood. Like it's obvious you just wanted to be up here on your mountain alone without people. Like you're just annoyed that they're here. And you know that thing where you get amped up and you start having the argument you were gonna have in your own head? And then you're like, I wish he would come back here and say something. I want him to come back here. So I'm doing that, walking back down to my hotel room, and I'm just in a funk. And I get down there, and I walk into the lobby. My room is on the 4th floor, so I walk to the elevator. On the other side of the elevator is the parking garage door. And as I'm getting there, a woman walks in with her 2 kids, probably 6 and 4, young mom. And we're waiting for the elevator. The kids are having a blast, like being loud as kids do. You guys would totally not know anything about that. And they're just kind of like rambunctious, but not to an annoying extent. And the mom's super apologetic. She's like, "I'm so sorry, we just got out of the car. And this little kid just runs up to me and he's telling me the life story of this banana that he's named George." And we're just, I'm playing back and forth with them. We get in the elevator. They're asking a bunch of questions. And then we get to the elevator. They get off. And the doors close, and I realize, like, my mood's completely changed. I was in this dark, nasty place, angry because of this other guy, and all it took was these other people just to put my mood 100% back where it should be. The impact that we have on each other at an emotional level with the environment that we create as leaders is immeasurable. We're a social species. Our emotions are basically contagious. And so if someone's negative around you, if you have a leader who's always complaining that someone's coming down on them or they're scared all the time that we're not going to hit our numbers, that fear, that disappointment, that feeling is going to seep into the store, and pretty soon people are going to start treating each other bad because they're going to be complaining about each other, or then worse, they're going to start complaining about the customers, and a customer is going to overhear that, and it turns into this nasty cycle, right? Take the opportunity to soak in what it really means to lead with why. Internalize the purpose once they unveil it today and say, what does this look like for me at the store level, or the district level, or the region level? How am I going to show up for people sourcing myself from this place in the coming weeks or months?